Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, the pace of the AI ecosystem, it's less like a news cycle and more like a rocket launch.
It's completely relentless. If you're trying to keep up, the signal-to-noise ratio is just brutal.
Exactly. So our mission today is to cut through all of that. We're taking a whole stack of sources on funding, hardware, and some really breakthrough research, and we're handing you the distilled essential knowledge you need to be well-informed right now.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Today, we're looking at three major shifts that are, I think, really defining this next era of AI scaling.
For sure. First, there's the sheer volume of capital driving these strategic funding wars. Then, the critical hardware bottlenecks that are basically dictating who wins and who loses.
And finally, some surprising breakthroughs in predictive health that bring the impact of AI, directly into your life.
We're here to help you connect the dots between
Right.
the dollars, the data centers, and the real-world implications.
Let's start exactly where the heat is greatest. The funding war. Elon Musk's xAI just completed a new Series E funding round.
And it is a monster round.
Mhm.
They pulled in a massive $20 billion.
Which has just immediately catapulted their valuation to $230 billion. That figure on its own is staggering.
What's fascinating here is not just the valuation, which, is huge. It places them squarely in that frontier AI elite club.
Right behind Anthropic and OpenAI.
Exactly, trailing Anthropic at $350 billion and OpenAI at $500 billion. But the really interesting part is who is involved in the backing.
Okay, so who are the key players?
We're talking NVIDIA and Qatar's sovereign wealth fund.
And why does that pairing matter specifically?
It's a masterclass in strategic positioning. It secures the two things that matter most in this hyperscaling environment: supply and long-term capital stability.
So NVIDIA is the gatekeeper of the compute hardware.
They are the undisputed gatekeeper. By having NVIDIA as a backer, xAI is basically attempting to secure priority access in a global chip market that is defined by extreme scarcity.
So it's not just a cash investment, it's a physical infrastructure investment.
Precisely. They are funneling that capital directly into physical expansion. They're accelerating their compute scaling in Memphis with these really aggressive plans for a third data center.
A third one.
A third. The goal is to push their total power capacity close to 2 gigawatts. That kind of self-sufficient physical fortress is what's necessary to compete now.
And then they tie that into the rest of the ecosystem.
Right. You combine that infrastructure with the plan to tightly tie the new Grok 5 chatbot across X, Tesla, and Optimus. They're leveraging Musk's unique advantage of owning both the AI and the massive distribution platforms.
Okay, moving from the rarefied era of, trillion-dollar valuations and gigawatt data centers, let's look at how AI is being pushed into the consumer's physical world.
This is a fun one.
Gaming tech company Razer just unveiled Project AVA at CES 2026. This is essentially a Grok-driven hologram device.
The glowing cylinder that sits right on your desk.
Yeah, and it displays a 5.5-inch animated AI companion.
And this is a major sign. I think the trend of AI companions is shifting out of, the smartphone screen or a simple voice speaker and into a physical dedicated device.
It makes the interaction feel more present, more ambient.
It does. And the device is certainly eye-catching.
You can choose different Grok personalities or even use anime characters or esports likenesses as the avatar, which is interesting.
And Razer is focusing the use cases on what you'd expect: real-time game coaching, brainstorming, general work assistance.
The hardware itself is pretty sophisticated. It has a built-in camera and dual microphones, which allow the AI to actively watch your screen and listen for voice commands.
So it can offer guidance right there in the moment.
Right. But while Grok is the default brain, they are planning compatibility with other AI providers.
Which is a necessary hedge. But the irony here is what gives me pause.
What's that?
Razer is positioning this directly at the core gaming segment. And that is a user base that has been, notoriously resistant to AI integration into their favorite games or workflows.
Why is that resistance so deep in the gaming community? Is the cool factor of a physical hologram enough to overcome that skepticism?
I'm not sure. Gamers value authenticity, skill, the human element in competition. Integrating AI often feels like a shortcut or, cheating. It diminishes the sense of earned achievement.
So AVA has a tough hill to climb.
It does. It's focused on utility, the hardware is cool, but if it doesn't solve a critical problem like offering genuinely better coaching than human streamers, that $20 reservation fee might not translate into mass adoption. It's a gamble on the interface, not necessarily on the intelligence inside.
Okay, now let's pivot to a technology that truly defines the life-altering potential of AI. Here's where it gets really interesting.
This is a big one.
Stanford researchers just published details on SleepFM, a new AI foundation model that can predict over 130 diseases,
And not just any diseases. We're talking major conditions like Parkinson's and dementia.
using only a single overnight sleep recording.
It's an incredible feat of pattern recognition. Sleep FM was trained on an immense data set, 600,000 hours of sleep data from 65,000 participants.
Wow. And it's analyzing everything, right?
The entire symphony of your rest. Brain waves, heart activity, breathing, muscle signals all at once.
So how does the model actually flag danger before traditional symptoms even appear?
The model is essentially looking for system dissociation. It's looking for things that are out of sync.
Out of sync? How so?
Well, for example, your brain may enter a pattern that indicates deep restorative sleep, but your heart rate is elevated or, racing inappropriately.
I see. So that disconnect is the warning sign.
That dissociation, that lack of synchronization, serves as an early warning for future disease progression. And they validated these findings against 25 years of actual health records from the Stanford Sleep Clinic.
25 years of data. And the accuracy metrics are, they're highly impressive.
They're stunning. The model was able to predict the future onset of Parkinson's with 89% accuracy.
89%. What about dementia?
Dementia at 85%, heart attacks at 81%, and the general overall risk of death with 84% accuracy, years down the line.
That is just unbelievable.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it transforms the simple act of sleeping into a powerful, relatively inexpensive early warning system for the entire population.
Right. So this kind of sophisticated predictive health monitoring is moving rapidly out of specialized, expensive sleep labs.
And right on to advanced wearables and the sleep tech you use every night. But this level of ambition and scale brings us to the biggest challenge facing the industry right now.
Compute constraints.
Exactly.
That's the critical pivot point. The ambition of Sleep FM and the scaling efforts of xAI are colliding head-on with physical reality. Let's shift our focus now to the broader market dynamics and the underlying hardware infrastructure that makes or breaks these breakthroughs.
The AI chip shortage is not just an abstract problem. It's radically reshaping market finances globally.
And we're seeing that play out with some big companies.
We are. Analysts are forecasting a phenomenal Q4 operating profit jump for Samsung. They're expected to hit $11.7 billion.
Which would be their highest operating profit since 2018.
It would. And this massive growth is driven almost entirely by the severe memory chip shortage affecting every major AI player.
Give us some context on why that shortage is so financially acute right now.
It's specific bottlenecks. The shortage has caused memory prices to just jump significantly. We're talking a staggering 314% year-over-year increase for DDR5 DRAM prices.
And for our listeners, what is DDR5 DRAM and why is it so important?
It's the fastest, highest capacity specialized memory module available. And training these massive frontier AI models requires, oceans of this ultra-fast memory just to feed the GPUs efficiently.
So that 314% hike really shows you the immediate punishing financial leverage chipmakers have.
And how desperately the AI labs are scrambling to secure the components needed just to keep their models training.
It makes the philosophy around scaling feel incredibly fragile. We see the ambition, but the physical constraints are hitting hard.
Absolutely. Anthropic CEO Daniela Amadei said it best. The exponential continues until it doesn't. And every year it has.
And we also saw some significant market success outside of the frontier labs, too, with Ella Marina raising $150 million in Series A funding.
Right, at a $1.7 billion valuation. It shows that specialized AI development platforms are still attracting major capital.
And speaking of that escalating demand, the competition in hardware is just relentless.
It really is. NVIDIA just unveiled its Rubin platform at CES 2026. This is a unified AI supercomputer, combining 6 new chips designed to deliver 5 times the training compute of their current Blackwell line.
Which is already the industry leader. That's a huge jump in capability. But how fast is the required compute accelerating relative to that?
That's the crucial question. AMD CEO Lisa Su added to this dramatic picture. She's forecasting that global AI users will surpass 5 billion in the next 5 years.
5 billion users.
And to meet that projected demand, effectively, she argues, the total required compute must increase by 100 times.
Wow. So you put NVIDIA's 5x improvement next to the industry's 100x requirement.
And you realize just how steep the scaling challenge truly is.
Now, a look at new software and specialized wearables, which are all trying to capitalize on that demand. Amazon-owned Bee, the always listening AI wearable, announced some significant new features.
They're launching something called Actions, which connects directly to your email and calendar to take complex actions on your behalf.
And also Daily Insights, which identifies subtle behavioral patterns over weeks to help you track goals or shifts in your life.
The utility is immense, but we have to talk about the tension here. This device, which integrates biometrics and continuous audio capture, is becoming radically more intrusive.
They really emphasize the privacy promise, though. No audio is ever stored. It's all processed in real time and deleted.
True, but the depth of the insights they are generating about your life depends on continuous, real-time access to the most private parts of your existence. The value is high, but the potential privacy exposure, even with that no storage promise, requires serious consideration for anyone adopting it.
That balance between utility and continuous monitoring is definitely one you have to weigh constantly as a listener. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have models focusing on efficiency.
Right, like Liquid AI's LFM 2.5. It's a new SOTA open-weight model family.
And SOTA, for the listener, means state-of-the-art.
These models are designed specifically for efficiency and speed across text, vision, and audio, making them ideal for on-device AI integration where resources are, constrained.
And in the creative sector, we saw Lightric's open-source LTX2.
This is an AI video model capable of generating native 4K footage and synced audio, but what elevates it to a major advancement is the addition of granular camera and motion control.
Why is that granular control the missing link for creators?
Because generating beautiful 4K video isn't enough for professional production. You need control. Control over the virtual lens, the motion path, the scene composition, just to integrate that footage into an existing pipeline seamlessly.
So LTX2 provides that layer of technical direction.
Exactly. It makes AI video a truly usable asset for high-end professional content creation, rather than just, a novelty generator.
Okay, let's wrap up with a quick look at some trending tools you might find immediately useful today. First up, for anyone tackling home design, there's RoomLab.
It lets you redesign, render, and stage rooms in seconds. Super useful.
And for creating professional, targeted marketing, there's Poppy.
Yeah, that uses AI to streamline generating professional ads and even viral content.
Then there's Dahmer for generating HD videos without watermarks. And for writers, AI Humanizer promises to turn raw text from something like ChatGPT into writing that feels undeniably human.
And a few others to check out are Alexa.com, which is Amazon's assistant experience now on the web, and Iditly, which is an all-in-one workspace for generating, editing, and restoring images and creating videos.
So what does this all mean? We've seen the monumental capital validating the frontier AI space, exemplified by xAI's $230 billion valuation.
Which is driven by those strategic hardware partnerships.
We've looked at the exciting physical potential of AI companions, like Razer's AVA.
And perhaps most crucially, the life-altering promise of predictive health models like Stanford's Sleep FM, capable of spotting over 100 diseases from a single night of rest.
So what's the big takeaway?
This raises an important question for you to explore as you process this seismic shift. Given the massive market demand driving that 314% spike in specialized memory prices, and the prediction from AMD's CEO that we need a 100x compute increase to meet user demand.
The reality is that compute is now the world's most valuable commodity.
It is. So how sustainable is the current pace of exponential AI scaling? And which companies, like a Samsung or an NVIDIA, are best positioned to secure the necessary hardware or face the infrastructure cliff in the next 2 years?
That is the core constraint that will define the winners and losers in this space. We hope this deep dive helped you cut through the noise and get exactly the knowledge you needed today.
Make sure to follow and share this deep dive with others who need that shortcut to being well informed.
See you in the next episode.